All right, guys, for this next test, what we want to test out is your vertical force. Now, this is one of those tests that you're going to be testing multiple times. It doesn't matter what athlete you are. We test this across the board with all of our athletes. The reason being, when it comes to developing vertical force, that modality or that developing your vertical jump is going to transfer over to all of your other attributes, right? If we increase your vertical force, it's going to increase your top speed. It's probably going to make you accelerate faster. It's going to make you change directions faster just by being able to develop that overall total force. So this is one of those big ones that we like to get, and it's important that we get as accurate as we possibly can when it comes to it. Now, as far as measuring it goes, it can be the tricky part. Not everybody has tools and resources like we do have here at our facility. So with that being said, we have multiple ways that we test it here. Most of our athletes that are coming in here and don't need to perform this for a combine, there's two ways that we test it. We either test it on the Vertec, which is a apparatus which has measuring sticks, which gives us a pretty accurate and reliable measurement of vertical force. There is a level of the athlete having to reach and tap. The other thing that we have that is able to accurately measure is we have a jump mat, which is an apparatus which is essentially like a 2x2 or 3x3 foot square where the athlete jumps on that mat, and then it gives us a digital reading of how many inches they jumped or how long they stayed in the air. And we could test out other things such as approach jumps, single leg jumps, RSI. We could do both on this apparatus. Now, as far as this goes, if you have this apparatus, chances are you're gonna know how to accurately get your vertical jump in inches. But essentially what it is the athlete is gonna raise their hand, and what we're gonna line up is the bottom of the sticks are going to essentially go at their fingertips. Then we raise that to the amount of inches we want, probably about 12 inches. And then there's 24 inches, all by a ½ inch of sticks on the Vertec. The athlete is then going to jump up, reach, and tap. And then you're gonna be able to basically subtract the two to gain the amount of inches that you jumped on your vertical jump. Now when you're performing this on the Vertec, we typically recommend you can keep going until you start to actually decrease. So if that takes 3, 4 jumps, that's completely fine as long as you keep climbing. You don't want to spend all day doing this. We're just trying to get baseline measurements. If you're on a jump mat, we usually recommend hitting about 2 jumps. Take your best out of the 2 just so you can move on to your other tests. Now, if you have a jump mat, it gives you instructions exactly how to do it and perform it, and it's gonna spit you out that reading. Now, if you're an athlete that doesn't have these tools or resources, there's a specific way that's rather easy that we want you to be able to perform this test to get an accurate and reliable measure. Now, there's a little bit of play here, but we want to get as accurate as we possibly can. And that's going to be using a wall and simple pieces of tape. So what the athlete's going to do is the athlete will have 2 pieces of tape, right? And he's going to go ahead and take one, put it at the fingertips. You're going to stand laterally up against the wall. It doesn't matter if it's your right or left, whatever you feel comfortable with. The athlete is going to stand there, and with their fingertips, they're going to place that on there. Now, is there a couple millimeters that it could be higher or lower? Yes. Again, we're just trying to get as accurate as we possibly can to determine your vertical force, okay? So understand that it's not going to be perfect, but our goal is to get as accurate as we can. Now, after the athlete has done that, he's going to stand perpendicular to the wall with his feet right underneath his hips and his toes forward. What he's going to do is, holding that same similar piece of tape, he's going to jump up and he's going to tap sideways and stick that piece of tape onto the wall. So if you could just do a nice and easy one just to show him exactly how to do it. Boom, and stick it. Now, you're obviously going to want to make sure that you're not close enough where you're going to bang into the wall. You have enough room, but you're also close enough so that you don't have to actually reach. You want to be able to just tap and put the piece of tape on the wall. Okay? Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take that tape measure. Now to get that accurate measure, we're gonna go ahead and put the top of the tape measure all the way to the top of that tape and measure to the top of the tape of your standing reach. And that number between the two tops in inches all the way down to the 1/2 inch is going to be the amount of your vertical jump measurement. And you're going to go ahead and record that. You want to take the best of 2 and go ahead and record that measurement.